All right, here is today's agenda. These are the topics we will be covering. We'll start with school years, adding and removing users, archiving and transferring plans, adding your admin events, and then generating your own invoices and quotes. So let's get started with our school years. So this is something that we always recommend admins do for their teachers prior to teachers getting signed on. Keeps everyone aligned with those school year dates and everyone on the same page. It also allows you to enable certain administrator features such as applying a lesson layout or using our plan submission feature. So if you are ready to add your school year for your teachers, these are the steps you would take. So from your admin account, you would head to that Planbook bar on the left and head down to school years. On this page, you're going to see any previous school years you've already had. If it is a school or district type school year, so again, right here in this type column, this will tell me if there's been a school year added by an administrator at my specific school, that means it'll say school. If it says district, that means a district administrator has added a school year. So if you're in a district account, sometimes those DAs are able to do that for all schools as well. To add the new school year, we would just click that plus icon in the top right. We're going to give our school year a name like 26-27. Enter your start date and end dates. For this example, I think I'll just do August through May. In this drop down below, this is where you would apply a lesson layout. So if you've gone in and you've added a lesson layout that you want your teachers to have automatically applied to their lessons, you would apply it here within their school year. On the right, we're selecting the schedule type. So most of the time, you're going to have classes scheduled on a weekly basis. If your school has a cycle schedule, like an AB day, or sometimes I see like red day, orange day, blue day, you can add those in your cycle schedule here and update the names of the day. You can even do on a 2-week basis. So sometimes we see week 1, week 2 rotating. But if you're on just a weekly Monday through Friday schedule, you're going to leave it checked at the top here on a weekly basis. And then we also have this new feature that was just added around this time last year, which is our auto create feature. So administrators can check this box, which will make your admin school year automatically be placed in teachers' accounts. They'll get a pop-up notification the next time they sign in saying, your admin has added this school year for you. What do you want to copy in from your previous year if they have one? And they'll go through those steps, and that will automatically have your school year in to make sure everyone is on the same page. So if you wanted that to be the case, you would check that auto create box there. If you don't select it, they can absolutely still connect to your admin year the same way they always have. They'll just click to add their new school year. They'll be prompted to add yours if they want, and they can still connect to it from there. We have the grading periods drop down here. If you are a school that uses our gradebook feature, then you would want to add in your grading periods. If you don't use the gradebook and Planbook, which many schools do not, you don't need to add your grading periods. These will not populate into teacher plans unless you are using the gradebook. So if you wanted your quarter 1, quarter 2, all of that to be visible for teachers, you would want to add that as an event, which we're going to talk about later. Again, adding your grading periods in the school year will not automatically populate into teacher plans unless you're using the gradebook feature. Same with the grading scale here. You can see I'm going to add an example, but again, if you're not using the gradebook, you can leave that area blank. And then at the bottom, you can select your school days. So most schools obviously will be on a Monday through Friday schedule. And then school times, again, you can leave it blank or you can enter your school times. This just creates kind of the parameters of where teachers will be able to add their classes. So if you say in your school year that your school day ends at 3 p.m. and a teacher tries to add a class at 4 p.m., they're not going to be able to do that. So this just kind of creates those boundaries of where teachers' classes will be scheduled. Again, if you leave it blank, they can just schedule their classes as needed anyway. And then you click that plus icon in the top right to save your school year, and you would be good to go. Here are some frequently asked questions that we get about administrator school years. So a lot of times admins will say, I added this school year, but when I go to my plans page, I'm still seeing 25-26 or 24-25 in all my teachers' plans. Why can't I see that 26-27 year I just added? That's because teachers, even if you auto create that year for them, teachers still have to sign in and go through that process, because teachers will be prompted to copy in any classes or lessons that they want from their previous year. So they'll have to sign in and say, okay, copy in whatever I want and connect to that school year, then it will be visible in their account. So if you don't see a current school year in teachers' plans, even though you've added it, you've done nothing wrong. That teacher just needs to sign in and click through the steps to get their school year set up. Another one we see often from my admin account, the teacher's plans look blank, but they can show you from in their account, look, I have plans. I'm not sure why I'm seeing a blank screen, but the teacher clearly has plans in their account. When this happens, it's likely that a teacher has a duplicate school year. So they might have two school years labeled 26-27. Maybe they added their own school year and then later decided to adopt that admin school year, and their plans only exist in one of those school years. So you'll use that school year drop down when viewing a teacher's plans to make sure they don't have a duplicate year. If they do, they can delete that year anytime to avoid confusion. And I will show you what that school year drop down menu looks like on the next page so that you know where to check that. Can teachers still copy their plans from a previous year? Yes. Once they adopt the admin school year, they'll be prompted to copy in their plans as they wish. So even if they say, hey, I already set up my 26-27 year, now you've auto created it, I don't want to lose what I've already created. They won't. When you auto create or when you add that admin school year, they will still be prompted to copy in anything from their most recent year. They won't lose anything. They can simply copy it in. How can I tell if a teacher is using an admin created year? Again, you're going to click that school year's drop down menu, which I will show you on the next page. You're going to see a little blue S icon or a blue D icon. S is for school, D is for district, as I showed you on that school year's page. All right, so when you're viewing a teacher's lesson plans, your teacher bar will be over here on the left. As you know, you click on a teacher's plans. If you click the school year or the little school building, you might see that icon. If you click that, that will give you a drop-down menu of all of the school years within that teacher's account. If you see this little blue S icon here, that means that they are connected to and using an administrator added school year. Again, it might have a D there. That means it's been added by a district admin. Again, but that's still an admin year. If it looks like this, like you see my 24-25 school year, that means that that teacher just created that school year from within their own account, which they absolutely can. Teachers can do that. But if you want them connected to your admin year, you would just want to confirm that they have that blue S. And again, this is also the drop-down menu that you would check if they had duplicate years. So sometimes you'll click this drop-down and you'll see they've got like 3 26-27 school years, and you'll have to click between them to find the one that actually has their plans in it. And in that case, you'd probably want them to delete those duplicate years so that it would leave only the correct year for you to view as an administrator. All right, so let's head back to that Q&A. I would love to hear any questions that you have now about creating that administrator school year or getting your teacher set up with that admin year. If you have any, I'll pause for just a few minutes and keep my eye on the chat. Oh, we already have a few, sorry. All right, if a teacher has already set up a school year and I check that button, will override what they have done, or will they have the option to use mine? Yep, so some teachers, they've already gotten a head start on next year. They've already created that 26-27 year. If you go in and auto create, they won't lose anything. So what will happen is they'll sign in, they'll get a little pop-up notification that says your administrator has auto created this school year for you. What do you want to copy in from your current school year? And they would probably in this case want to click copy all, copy all, copy all. It's going to copy their classes, their schedule, their lessons, everything into that admin year. So nothing will be lost. So if teachers have already started planning, don't worry, you can still add that admin year for them. It's not going to mess anything up that they've already created. Will teachers receive an email that an admin school year has been created? They will if you auto create it, I believe. They'll receive that email that the school year has been auto created for them. I believe if you don't auto create, I don't think they will, but again, the second that they sign into their account, if you auto create, they're going to get that pop up. If you don't auto create, they're still going to be prompted to add a new school year. They're just going to have the option to add the admin one. It'll still say, good news, your administrator has added a school year for you. Do you want to use this one? Typically, they would just click continue and use that admin year. If they really don't want to use it, they can click do not use, add my own school year, and then if they would go through the same steps to copy in. But again, they would still see that notification when they sign in to add a school year, and they would still be prompted to add the admin year, even if you don't auto create it. Is there a way the system can notify admin if a teacher opts out? So at this time, we don't have a notification system that a teacher has added their own school year. I would say the closest thing that we have to that is on your school years page. Let me see if I can go back to that video and show you where that would be. On your school years page, okay, right here. So when you click the school years icon over here, again, you'll see a list of all of the school years you or another admin, if another admin at your school has created it, you'll still see it here on your school years page. We have right here the teachers column. This will tell you how many teachers have adopted or started using that admin school year. So once you first add it, even if you auto create, it's going to be at 0, right? Until that teacher signs in and actually like clicks yes, copy in. So this will tell you the total number of teachers using that school year. So if you've got 15 teachers actively using Planbook and you see this number is only 12, unfortunately, we can't tell you which teachers those are. You'd have to kind of go to view their plans and see if they have that blue S. But this is the closest way for now that you could monitor, how many teachers are using the admin year and if they chose not to do that. All right, let's see. All right, these are great questions. If there's any more school year questions, again, I'll hang on at the end to answer questions about everything, but for now, let's keep it moving. Let's go into our next section, which is about adding and removing users. So with Planbook, you purchase a total number of accounts. You choose who those licenses are for. If you send us a teacher list, fine, that's great, but those teachers don't have to be the ones using those for the entire school year. So we know of course, it can happen that teachers may come and go, they go on maternity leave, they get transferred to a different school. You can update your teacher list at any time. We also have what I want to highlight here in the top right, we have manager accounts, which are new as of around this time last year. Managers on the account are great if you have like a school secretary, someone that can easily manage that teacher list for you. They're able to add and remove users at any time. They can access billing, they can generate quotes, they can pay your invoices, and manager accounts are free. So they do not count towards your total number of accounts. They won't have the admin features that you have, like updating a lesson layout or seeing, who submitted their plans this week. But as far as adding and removing users and accessing billing and all of those kind of managerial processes within the account, they would be able to do that again free of charge. All right, so let's take a look at adding and removing users. So you would head to that Planbook bar on the left and go down to your teachers page. On this teachers page, you will see, I'm going to pause real quick. So again, in these columns over here on the right, I want to highlight you can always view the teacher's last login here. So sometimes admins will ask us, is this teacher using their account? How many of these teachers are actually active? From your teachers page, you can look and see the last time that they signed into their account. You can see who's been invited. If it says invited here, that means you sent them an email invitation, they just haven't signed in yet. So they would need to go to their email, click that link and get connected. If it has a last login here, that means they're connected, you're all set. Over here on the right, on roll, it tells you if they have a teacher account, an admin account, and then of course, first and last name. So if I wanted to invite another teacher or teachers to get signed in, I'm just going to click this little plus icon in the top right corner. that invite teachers box will pop up in the middle here, and you would just type or copy paste the email address of those users into this box here. You would click the check mark to send that off. You can also import a CSV. If you have like a list of all teacher names, you can import using this little plus icon. If you type in their email and you click enter, this will make their email kind of look gray like this. And this is where you can update if you want to invite teachers, administrators, or managers. So you can invite any type of account, not just teachers. So a lot of times admins are like, how do I add another administrator? This is how you would do that. So you would click that little T icon, T is for teacher, and that will allow you to update what type of invitation you're sending them. So you could change that to A to invite another administrator, click that plus icon, and that'll send them that invite email. And you can see now that email that Sarah Brown I just put in the invite box is now listed as invited in the last login column. If there are users leaving your school that you no longer need on your subscription, you can also remove them at any time. So you could click their name, click that little 3-dot actions icon here. It's the gray one, not the blue one, and click remove teacher. Are you sure you want to remove them from the school? If yes, you would click continue. And now they're no longer listed as one of your users connected to the school subscription. That is not going to delete their account. They can still sign in if they're going to use Planbook at another school or just on their own moving forward. They can absolutely do that. Again, you're not deleting their account. You're just removing them from your school, so you no longer have to pay for them on your account. They're no longer on your user list. All right, some more FAQs about adding and removing users. Who can update the user list? So sometimes we get emails, they're like, how could this teacher have been removed? I don't know what happened. Well, any user that has admin or manager access, so also those dual accounts, anyone that can switch between dual teacher and admin side of their account, they can add and remove users too. So any administrator, dual user, or manager on the account can update their user list at any time. Will deleting them from the teacher's page delete their account? No, as I just said, that's not going to delete their account. It's just going to disconnect them from your school subscription. Can we change out teachers in the middle of the year? Yes, absolutely. You don't need to tell us you're switching teachers out. You have full authority to do that. You purchase the total number of accounts with Planbook, and then you can decide who's using that. So you can update the user list at any time throughout the school year. And the only time that you would receive like an additional invoice from us or anything like that is if you have, a handful of accounts that are active. So if I purchase 20 accounts and now I've got 30 active users, our system will automatically generate an invoice and send you, for those additional users, a prorated invoice. How can I remove a teacher that is left but still retain access to their plans? We can archive their plans for you. We have a couple different ways we do that, including an archived email account, which I will show you in our next section. All right, so let's head to the Q&A in the chat. I see I already have one. Type your questions in here. I have a building administrator who wants to be able to view lesson plans but is not using Planbook for her scheduling. Does her account count for a license? If they need to be able to view teacher lesson plans, then yes, they would need an administrator account and that would count toward the total. Manager accounts don't have a plans page, so they wouldn't be able to view teacher plans. They would only be able to head to that teacher's page and see who's connected, and they can access the billing, which we'll view in our last section of our presentation here. But yeah, if they need to be able to view teacher plans, they would still need that admin access, which is the same cost. All right, we can keep it moving if there's no questions. If something pops into your head about adding or removing, just go ahead and pop it into the chat and we'll get to it, but let's keep it rolling. And I mentioned that we have a couple different archival options. So I know a lot of times you may be required to keep a certain number of school years on file for your teachers, even if they've left the school. And this is some of our options we have for doing that. We're going to talk about how you as an administrator can copy school years between teachers, including teachers that are leaving your school. Real quick, I have one more. As a district admin, can I add schools to my plan book, or do schools have to add me as an administrator? If you need district admin access, we can update that for you. Admins can update account types, but they can't allow district admin access. We would have to do that on our end. Once you're a DA, you can then appoint other DAs, but as far as you needing access to all schools, we would have to update your account type to a DA. So if you're a DA, a district admin in Planbook, you would automatically have access to all schools. And again, just email us, support@planbook.com. We can easily update that if you need access to all schools. All right, let's talk about archiving and transferring plans. So we hear a lot that, I have a new teacher coming in, but I really want them to be able to view and access the teacher's plans who was previously in this position to kind of help this new teacher coming in. How can I do that? So in that case, we would want you to invite that new teacher to join the school account, which is the same way we just did on that invite teachers page. Once your new teacher signs in, you can copy any full school years from the previous teacher into that new teacher's account, and then remove that old teacher from the school. Here's how you would do that. Again, from your admin account, you would head to your teachers page. You're going to click who you want to copy the plans from. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to copy from Autumn to Allison. So I'm going to click on Autumn's plans, and I'm going to click that actions button in the top right. So again, that is the little 3-dot icon. Once I click on a teacher, that edit teacher bar comes out. I'm going to click the 3 dots, and the very first option says copy school year. All right, now in the top, it's going to ask me which school year do I want to copy of hers. So I'm going to copy her 24-25 plans. And on the bottom, who am I copying to? So it's going to default to all teachers. If you don't want all of your teachers to receive that school year, make sure you update this bottom drop down here. So I want to copy Autumn's 24-25 school year to Allison. I'm going to click the check mark. And that's going to copy her full school year over to that teacher. It's not going to copy those plans into her current school year. It's just going to provide her with a copy of them in her school year dropdown. So I'll show you what that looks like here next. Once I've copied the year, now I can remove that teacher that is leaving my school or is retiring. I don't need her on my account anymore. I have a copy of her plans where I need it. She can be removed. If I head back to my plans page and now I click on Autumn's account and I go up to her school year dropdown, now we can see that copy year, that 24-25 school year is in her account. It's a full school year copy. Again, it's not going to shift or replace anything that she's currently working on. It's just going to provide her with a full school year copy. And it's going to be labeled with the previous teacher's last name to help identify where that school year came from. She can click through the plans, she can edit them, copy, paste, use them as her own. And it's not going to affect anything in the original teacher's account. All right, so we have a couple other ways for you to retain access to teachers' plans that have left. If you're not copying them into a new teacher's account and you want a file or you want another way to continue to access them moving forward, here's a couple different options we have. So the most probably popular and, in my opinion, easiest way to do that is to create an archived email address in the school account that admins can use to store plans. So again, you as an admin can copy those full school years at any time. We would give you an account that's called archived plans. You can copy plans into that account as needed, and you can have multiple, as many years as needed, stored in that account. And I'll show you what that looks like on the next screen. You could update your admin account to dual, so you would have then admin side of your account, teacher side, and then on that teacher side, you would retain access to those full school years. Or we could move all past lessons into lesson banks. You can then decide who has access to them from there. If you're interested in any of these archival options, just email us, again, support@planbook.com. Say, hey, I really need an archived email address set up. We're happy to do that for you. If we add that archived account to your plans, that is another account that does not count towards your subscription total. So that is a free account. And it looks like this. All right, so let's say this is my admin account. You're going to have right there along with your teacher list an account called Archived Plans. It shows up just like any of your teachers would. And then within that school year dropdown, any of the school year plans from teachers that have left would always be saved here, labeled by the school year and the teacher's last name to help you organize. And then once they're in that account, let's say, oh, now I have a new art teacher coming in and she's going to need access to Mr. Reed's old plans. Well, I still have those plans. So now I can go to my teachers page. I can copy the full school year from my archived account into that new teacher, and I can use them as I see fit. But they will always remain stored for you here. All right, any questions about copying school years between teachers or retaining access to any of those school years that you need for as teachers come and go? After we have the archive user set up, do we need to manually add the plans each year? So yeah, you would still have to copy those in because typically if you still have teachers on your school account that are still with your school, their school years are always going to be saved. So you always have access to them. It's not going to automatically copy all teachers' plans. It would just kind of be up to you as the administrator to decide, okay, these teachers I'm going to disconnect from the school. So once you disconnect them, you can't view their school years anymore. So who are the specific teachers you need to copy those plans from? So you would pick and choose, who are those teachers that are leaving that you need to retain their school years, and then you could disconnect them. The teachers who are moving forward with you at your school, you wouldn't need to copy into that archive account because you will always retain access to all of their school years. So typically it would just be copying from those users who you would like to disconnect from their school account, but keep their plans on file. All right, any other questions? Pop them in, but let's talk about adding events. So events are probably one of the most used and I think most helpful features that you can use on a school account as an administrator because any events that you add from your admin account will automatically display for all teachers. So we always recommend hopefully prior to your teachers getting signed in for the school year, you can go in as the admin and add all of your no school days, your spring break, your winter holiday, your PLC days, your professional learning days, your staff meetings, any school-wide events. It's really helpful for the admin to add those ahead of time because those are going to automatically populate into your teachers' accounts. All right, so to do that, to start adding your events from your admin account, you would head to events from the Planbook bar on the left. Any current or even your previous school year's events will all display here. Again, in the type column, if it says school, that means they're specific to your school. An administrator from your school or yourself has added them. If it says district, that means a district admin on the account has added those district-wide for all schools. To add a new event, we're going to click the plus icon in the top right. I'm also going to pause real quick, and I just want to highlight here, this little three dot icon in the top right will allow you to import a CSV of events all at once. It will even give you a sample CSV so you can see what each heading has to be, so you're making sure you have the format right of that CSV. So if you'd rather do that all at once, you can easily do that with a CSV import. If you'd rather just go step by step and add each event, you can absolutely do that the way the video shows you here by clicking this little plus icon to add each event. So in this example, we'll add a school assembly. You'll add a start date and end date. If it's just one day, again, the start date and end date would be the same. If you made it like a week-long event, then it would just be daily. So if it's like something like your spring break, you would enter the full week. You wouldn't have to do an individual day. Also, if you have something like we have staff meetings every Monday, you could make that start date and end date the duration of your school year, and then you'll get a little drop-down menu that says, do you want this to repeat? You would say, yes, I want it to repeat weekly, and then it's going to repeat every Monday, or whichever day of the week you add that first event. But again, if this is just a single day, I'm going to keep that day as is. If you don't add a time to your event, which you don't have to, it'll just populate at the very top of Teacher's Day as a reminder. If you do add a time, it's going to populate into their plans at that specific time. We can add a sticker. In this video, we have we even have more stickers available now in different style types too. So we're going to add the assembly sticker. You don't have to add a sticker, but I think it makes it look cute. If it's a no school day, again, such as your winter holiday, you would check this box for no school day. Any notes you want visible, you could add in the description here. For example, this says, please be in the gymnasium by 7:20. We click save. And now when we head back to the plans, those are immediately going to be visible in your teacher's plans. Now we can see there on Friday, 7:30 to 8 assembly with those notes, please be in the gymnasium by 7:20 a.m. And as I click between teachers, I can see it's automatically within all of their accounts. You can update events at any time throughout your school year. I like to say it's good to add them before your teachers get signed in, but obviously we know things change and shift during the school year. You can update, delete, add anytime from your events page. All right, here's some frequently asked questions about events. Can I add no school days if teachers have already begun planning? Yes, absolutely. You can add no school days at any time. If you have a weather day throughout the school year, you can go in and mark a day as a no school day. What will happen is teachers will sign in, they'll get a pop-up notification that says your administrator has added a no school day. Would you like to shift your plans accordingly? Most of the time they're going to want to say yes. So if they had plans in on Monday, now you make Monday no school day, it's going to shift their plans to Tuesday and everything forward after that, so nothing is lost. Can teachers delete or remove the events? No. So if you add those as an admin, they cannot delete those. They cannot edit them or change them if you have added them as an administrator. Only other administrators on the account will be able to do that. And teachers can add their own events too. So if they have like an IEP meeting or a parent-teacher conference, something that they want to remember in their own account, they can absolutely do that, but yours will be added school-wide. And they won't be able to update those. Can I add events for certain grade levels and groups of teachers? Unfortunately, no. At this time, events will display for all users connected to your school. If you have something specific to a certain group of teachers, we always just recommend label it like third grade field trip or second grade PLCs today or something like that. That is something that we get requested a lot by admins. So we're hoping that in one of our future updates, we can make that available, that you could push out events just to certain groups of teachers. But for now, those admin events will be visible for all teachers on the account. All right, what questions do we have about events? How do you turn notifications on? So within the, let me head back to the video. I believe if you're adding an event, if you click the three-dot icon up here, I believe it's when we add a sticker, you might be able to see it. You can turn on notifications for that specific event. There it is. So we click the three-dot icon here in the top right. This is where I went to add that little sticker, but you can also click add notification, and then you'll get prompted to, it'll say notify 10 minutes before, 30 minutes before, 5 minutes before, however, whatever you want that notification timeline to be. You will have to make sure that teachers have notifications enabled in their browser to receive that notification. But again, that is that little three-dot icon when you're adding the event, and click add notification. Yeah, so that's something within the actual browser. that you'll have to update. When I did mine, I was able to just click the notification and it kind of walked me through the process to allow notifications from Planbook within my specific Chrome browser. I'm not sure the exact steps offhand, but I was able to do that just by kind of clicking that alert. If you're not able to figure that out, just email us, support@planbook.com, and tell us what browser you're using, and we can send exact steps, but I apologize, I don't know them offhand. If teachers aren't receiving the notifications, they will need to do that. And again, they should be receiving that pop-up, like, please enable notifications to receive alerts or something like that, the same way you see it. So if their events or if their notifications are turned off, they will see that alert up top, and you would just, yes, have to let them know that they would want to enable that because you are using event notifications. All right, this is our last section. These are great questions. Thanks so much for hanging in there with me. This section is about how you as an admin or managers can generate your own invoices. You can manage billing all from within your admin account. You can even generate your own quotes. So within your account, you're going to click user settings. We haven't been there yet for any of these other features. So that is the little circle icon that either has your picture or a little gray person circle up there in the top right. So you would click that user settings and then click the first option, which says account. Over on the left, you would select billing. And then here you have two options. You can click renew or add accounts. If you click renew, don't worry, it's not going to automatically bill you or renew your account. It's going to give you this pop-up option here where you can select how many accounts you want to renew for. The default number here will just be how many users are currently connected. So if you don't want to change anything, you don't need to. It'll tell you what your new expiration will be if you renew, which is just 1 year out from what your current expiration is. You can use the up and down arrows if you wanted to actually renew for a different number. So I had 14 connected. I want to actually renew for 20 this time. So I can change that number here. I can click request quote. That's not going to bill me. It's just going to generate a quote for that number of users. Now I just can view my quote for 20 accounts. If I say, okay, you know what, that looks good. I want to actually go ahead and renew. Now I can click renew. If I click send invoice, then it's going to email the main contact and the billing contact. And I believe all admins on the account will receive a notification that you have an invoice. It'll attach a copy of that invoice as well. You can always view and access any invoices on your school subscription on your billing page. So if you go to account billing, they'll all be listed here. So this I see here, 1002515, that's the invoice number. Here's the total. If I click this little export icon, I'm going to be able to download a full copy of that receipt, or I can click pay now and pay online with a credit card. There's the pay now option. I would click with a card or PayPal and I could complete that there. If you just wanted to add a few accounts, so maybe you've already paid for 14 accounts, and oh, we actually have 5 new teachers that want to use Planbook, so I need to add 5 more. You can add accounts anytime. So if you click send invoice, it's going to email that invoice. If you click pay now, then you see now I get this pop-up. I can just go ahead and take care of that invoice now and get it paid. And then again, any invoices for the school account will always be here on my billing page. If I click this little send icon, now I can download and view that full invoice. And if I click that red pay now, then I can pay any outstanding invoices for my school at any time. And that's again online with a credit card or PayPal account. If you wanted to use a purchase order or mail a check, you can, when you download that invoice or a quote, our address to send a check is at the top of all of invoices and quotes. And if you wanted, excuse me, if you wanted to send a purchase order, you can email us anytime, support@planbook.com, and we can process your purchase order along with the invoice. All right, any questions about billing, generating invoices and quotes? Again, that can be done from any administrator, dual account, or manager account. All right, I'm going to keep moving forward. We do have the same way, this is our Planbook Live for administrators. We are going to have our Planbook Live sessions for teachers this August. They'll be offered on different days of the week and different times. So hopefully one of those dates will work for your teachers. And I think our first session is actually July 30th. So we're starting end of July and then through August. There will be a banner notification, the same way you might have seen one for the admin lives. So teachers will be able to see that those are coming up, and hopefully sign up for those. Um, they cover all of the topics that our professional development sessions do. So if you aren't able to get us on the schedule for one of your PD days and get all of your teachers together, maybe just your new teachers want to attend, hopefully they can join us for one of our live sessions for teachers. And if you scan that QR code, if you have a school subscription with us, professional development is included in your school subscription at no additional cost. So we are happy to meet with your teachers, even if you just want to have, again, like, my teachers are pretty experienced. We've been using it a few years, but I have, 6 new teachers joining us. I want to give them an overview. Happy to do a new teacher PD, whatever works best for you. Just head to our Calendly page from that link there and sign up for your session. I will say August and September fill up very quickly for us. So if you happen to know any dates that may work for you, I'd recommend getting them on the calendar sooner than later. Here's all the different ways you can reach us. We have our phone number, of course, our email, support@planbook.com. We're pretty quick to respond. Our Instagram and our YouTube channel has lots of step-by-step tutorials. We have an admin specific channel on our YouTube, which is super helpful. And then of course, our help center. And I will hang around if there's any other questions you have that I did or did not cover. I will, actually, I'll pull up my account so I can walk you through any specific questions. If you have no questions, thank you again for joining me this morning. You will receive an email with a certificate and recording of this session if you wanted to refer back to any of those sections. But again, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for using Planbook. Wishing you all a wonderful school year. And let me stop sharing this. And I'll pop into my account so that I can walk through anything else live. All right, can you show us how teachers can submit their weekly plans? Yes. All right, so if you want to turn on your plan submission feature from your admin account, you need to set that up first within your school profile. So plan submission will give you a report of who has submitted their plans and who has not. You as an admin can view teacher plans at any time. So all this really does is make them click a button that says submit, and it lets you know that their plans are ready to be checked. So if you wanted to do that from your admin account, you would click your user settings icon and head down to school profile. On your school profile page, in the settings here at the bottom, this is where you would set your submission time and date, or day of the week and time. So I want plans due the week before, the Monday before, let's do like Friday before, by 3 p.m. So maybe I want those plans to be done and complete by 3 p.m. the Friday before the upcoming week. Sorry, my toggle is being tricky. I think I have too many windows open. But again, you would click save here once that has been set. What that will do then for teachers is give them the status button up here. So I'm on the teacher side of my account now. I have a dual account. So I would make sure as a teacher, I would click this status button before I leave school on Friday, the Friday before the week, to let them know. I would mark them as ready. And then that would just, you can see now I have the tag of ready. And then as an admin, if I'm using that feature, if I head to my reporting page and go to plans, this would then give me a report of all my teachers. You can see I don't have that submission turned on here, but it would look like submitted, unsubmitted for any specific week through the school year. So you can see this one. I just submitted those, so now this mine is showing up late. This is a demo account. These are mostly fake teachers, so they're not actually signing in to submit their plans. So that's why these are all unsubmitted. Mine are marked as late, but that's what that report would look like. The other thing about reporting is that to get that status button, yes, you have to mark the time, day of the week and time you want them submitted, but teachers also have to be using an admin created school year to have that feature turn on for them. What is the best way to see if we have a school subscription versus individual? Well, if you have an admin account and you can see teachers or a sample teacher, you're on a school account. If you have an admin account and you're not connected to a school, you're just going to see an error message when you sign in. The other way to check your current school is to go to your user settings account. And then you go to my school, and then if you're connected to a school and district, they would be here within your account. Again, user settings, top right, account, and then click my school. You're welcome. All right, I'll hang on another few minutes in my account here. If anyone has specific questions, I can show you live. If not, you're absolutely free to sign off. I appreciate you so much spending time with me this morning. I'm so glad. Thanks, Laura. Have a great day. Yes, go ahead, Ayana. If you prefer to unmute, go ahead.
Sorry, hello, good morning. I could not find where to put the questions at. Um, how uh I was a little late, but is I when I was looking through this, I saw that there was a way for teachers to take attendance on this. Is that correct?
Yes, we did not go through that in our presentation. That would be more of a teacher feature, but if teachers have
I
added, if I'll go through it, if you as an admin or
uh-huh,
if you have a school account, we always recommend admins add students. That would
uh-huh.
be here. So students would have to be added first
Mm-hmm.
and assigned to their appropriate teachers. Once they are, teachers could go into their account and click attendance. And their attendance page, obviously you can see, I have like,
Right.
they would look like this and they would be able to mark them as present or absent or tardy that day.
Okay.
And
And
they,
so this is something that I would be able to see on the admin side as well, their attendance.
yes, as long as you make sure you as the admin adds those students.
Okay.
If the teachers add them from within their individual accounts, only
Mm-hmm.
teachers can see student
Got
information. But if you as the admin add them and then assign them to teachers, then yes, you can see
you
all
can
of
see.
that student information.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks for being here. I'm glad it was helpful. Yeah, I mean, um, would you suggest at least one admin being a Planbook Pro? You could definitely sign up to be a pro as an admin. It's going to be all of those teacher features, but we could definitely set you up with a dual account, which would provide you access like I have here. So it allows you to kind of still retain all of those admin features, but then still be able to kind of see all of the teacher side. So like, how am I scheduling classes? How can I apply my templates? A lot of admins like to have access to both just so they're able to help their teachers. So if you're looking to kind of learn more so that you can help your teachers, you can absolutely sign up to be a pro and go through those sessions to become a Planbook Pro and help your teachers at your site. Yeah, that would be awesome. So just email us, support@planbook.com with your email address if it's you, or the email address of who you'd like to nominate as a pro, and we can send you all that information for getting started. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Kelly. All right, everyone, I think we are all set. I'm going to end our session. Again, you'll receive some follow-up correspondence to your email address. I thank you again so much for joining me this morning to learn more about our admin features. Looking forward to a great school year with you. And if you need anything, always support@planbook.com. We are happy to help and look forward to working with you moving forward. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.